This is Secret America.
Welcome, everybody. I am Jack Danger, along with Jay Gatling. Jay, how you doing today, man? Where are you at? Look at your background. I want to know where you are.
I'm in an undisclosed location, Jack. I'm on the road on assignment. No, I'm in Ohio, and
Top secret assignment.
Top secret. No, not really. I mean, well, not really anymore. But no, we'll be out here. Got a couple people with me, Walter Kurt and a couple other people, and we're going to try and find some stuff going on in Ohio. So that's what I'm doing. As you see, my lovely hotel room in the background.
Very, very cool. Yeah, I see that. But so you're in Ohio, which is, obviously fraught with its own problems. But, have you seen what's going on in New York? It is absolutely dreadful. I mean, you've got Mamdani, who took over as mayor, 5-6 days ago. And the things that he promised are already crumbling. I mean, first of all, you've got, the things he promised, like making the subway free and freezing rents, those are things that are not under control of the mayor. They're not under control of the city. They're under control of individual boards that control those things. And guess what? He said one of the first things he's going to do is make the subway free. Well, guess what? The subway, the buses, it just went up to $3. The fare just went to $3. So it went up instead of being free, Jay. That's communist rule, if you will. But
being from New York, the MTA is in charge of that specific these things we're talking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
those are his promises, though. I was just saying those are his promises.
Yeah, his promises, he shouldn't have made anything like that, because as you said, a lot of that's out of his control. And these raises, these toll hikes were going in regardless. Mm-hmm. So this wasn't nothing to do with Mamdani per se. But again, all his talk and all the bluster, people are going to learn real soon. And this is just the beginning, that he's not going to be able to do almost any of these things. Now, the thing that scares me the most about him, Jack, is his control that he'll have over the NYPD, which is real. So we could talk about that. But that is real, and that's going to be a real problem. But all this other stuff with the buses, I really don't see him being able to do that. And again, with the subways, all this stuff is in control of the MTA, and they were raising this stuff anyway. So again, Mamdani, and here's another thing about communist rule. You said it. A lot of talk, Jack, and very little results usually. That's usually what happens.
Very little results. You're right about.
But have them, they're bad.
There's some other crazy things that are going on. Okay, so I actually put out a post that's garnering a lot of attention right now, and as have other people put out something about this same thing. Okay, so Zorhan Mamdani's tenant director, I don't know how you say her name. It looks like Sia Weaver. Okay, I want you to hear what she has said, because this is mind-boggling. Okay, she is apparently control of she's like the tenant's representative. She's someone that's supposed to protect the tenants, but this is what she's saying, and it doesn't seem like something that's going to be good for the tenants. That's the weird part. If it'll come up here.
I think the reality is that for centuries we've really treated property as an individualized good and not a collective good, and we are going to transitioning to treating it as a collective good and towards a model of shared equity will require that we think about it differently, and it will mean that families, especially white families, but some POC families who are homeowners as well, are going to have a different relationship to property than the one that we currently have.
Did you hear what she said right there? She said white families. She actually said the word white. I mean, she said white families. And this woman, Jewish people, and she's Jewish people for some reason do not consider themselves white, which is weird because every other race in the world considers you white. They're going to beat you up just the same, if you're Jewish or you're white. It's the same thing. So I don't understand, because white is a skin color. It's not a race, you know what I mean? And they are white, but, they don't consider themselves white, at least some of them. And she's one of them. So she said white people are going to be impacted. But that isn't even the biggest thing she said, Jay. She said that we are going to treat individual property as collective property. That is communism. That is taking wealth and then redistributing it to everybody. The problem with communism is it's never put into practice correctly. What happens is they take the wealth, but they never redistribute it correctly. Anything that is redistributed is controlled by the government. So yeah, you have your individual properties now, but once it's a collective property, who gets to run it? Everybody that owns that property can't run it. The government gets to run it, Jay.
And nobody should be surprised by any of this. And the big problem with Mamdani is that the people surrounding Mamdani are a bigger problem than Mamdani.
Yes.
So he's going to surround himself with absolute nightmares like the one we just heard. And doesn't she look exactly like you think she would? And also, and sound exactly like you think she'd sound. But nobody should be surprised by this. The man literally ran on the platform of the Communist Manifesto. Read it. I think one of the first things in there is no private property, Jack. So why is anybody surprised by what she just said? She's just running the playbook.
You're absolutely right. And there's other things that are going on here too. So we know that the communist playbook is what's happening here, okay? We know that's what's going on, but there's some other things that are going on too. And one of those things is the whole Muslim side, the Islamic side of this. Now, we knew that if you let something happen in Dearborn or any city in America for a matter of fact, if you let something happen in America, it will spread. Other cities will say, hey, if they can do it, I can do it. So they allowed the Islamic call to prayer in Dearborn loudly all the time, 5:30 a.m. Now, guess what, Jay? As soon as he got elected, it is happening in New York right now. Astoria, Queens. I've got something to show you here. In Astoria, Queens, they are now having the Islamic call to prayer at 5 a.m. 5 a.m. Take a listen to this. Take a look at this and listen to it.
We are hearing Azan. Come here.
I think we gave pretty off the Texas stuff.
Yeah. I never thought in my life he's gonna be here hearing this in the middle of New York. Good.
The middle of New York, and obviously she said the words good, but the middle of New York, they are doing the Islamic call to prayer. Astoria, Queens, Brooklyn. What do you think, Jay?
Well, I'm very familiar with Astoria, Queens, Jack. I spent 6 years there as a cop. That was my area. And am I shocked by this? No, I'm really not. Jack, 20 years ago, we saw plenty of people walking around in full coverings around Astoria, Queens, and obviously it's just expanded. And guess where Zohran Mamdani was a New York State Assemblyman? Astoria, Queens.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's good information.
There you go. So Zohran Mamdani defeated an incumbent to get that seat, and Astoria, Queens has forever been known as a heavily Greek neighborhood. Still is, but obviously not as much. He defeated an incumbent who was Greek. Zohran Mamdani was not just somebody that came, out of nowhere. He was placed and he was funded, and he does have the talent to campaign, and he has the talent to speak, much like a Barack Obama.
Exactly. And a Vivek Ramaswamy, who we will talk about later.
Which I don't want to put him in the same category. I happen to be a fan of Ramaswamy.
I'm just talking about people that came from relative obscurity and somehow have the perfect speech, but are not what you would call traditional Americans.
No, that's true. That's true. But I mean, Ramaswamy to me is a little different as far as, an entrepreneur, somebody who believes in capitalism. He's different than Obama.
I can tell you some things.
We'll see. But I think we could do worse than Ramaswamy, but we'll get into him.
Of course.
But when it comes to Mamdani and Obama, there is a lot of similarities, AOC similarities, somebody playing the role. And that's what Mamdani's doing, which is why I said, watch out for the people he surrounds himself with, as opposed to him himself. Don't take your eye off his group.
No, you're absolutely right, because the people that they surround themselves with is what causes the most problems, because they are in their ear telling them, hey, you need to do this. Hey, you need to do that, because it is much easier to have to use the reins of power from behind a shield. Okay, you are not Mamdani, so you can have him do the more what do you call it? I'm trying to think of the word. Help me out here. You can have him do the more radical stuff, if you will. You can tell him, here's the more radical stuff we need you to do. You know, you don't tell him that, but you whisper what you want done, and he will do it, and you get to be behind cover. It's much easier to use the reins of power behind cover. So let me tell you, that gives me something. That brings me to our next point here, Jay. I am really, really worried about Donald Trump. Let me tell you why I'm worried about Donald Trump, okay? Lindsey Graham is a snake, all right? He's a lizard person. He's one of you, what you call those lizard people, you know? He probably lives underground, all right? I'm telling you, he is one of the worst people in the world, but he has Donald Trump's ear. Donald Trump's ear. How could Donald Trump allow such a thing? I mean, it's madness, I tell you. Let me tell you something that just happened. And this is going to shock a lot of people, okay? Look, I want you to take a look at this. This is a real photo. This is a real photo. You know what that is? That is Lindsey Graham posing with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is holding a hat that says, "Make Iran Great Again." That's concerning for many reasons. Lindsey Graham is a warmonger. Lindsey Graham wants war. He makes money off of death and war. Okay, he has Donald Trump's ear. And let me tell you how I know he has Donald Trump's ear. Okay, there's another reason I know he has Donald Trump's ear, because as a matter of fact, he was on Air Force One with Donald Trump recently, actually. And I want to go ahead and show you this too. Look at this. He was on Air Force One with Donald Trump recently. Look how excited he gets when Donald Trump mentions something needs to happen with Cuba. You know what? Listen to him.
You know, one of the things that is happening, and I think you see it all the time, Howard, you've seen it, that Cuba is ready to fall. You know? Yes. Cuba looks like it's ready to fall. I don't know if they're going to hold it. But Cuba now has no income. They got all of their income from Venezuela. From the Venezuelan oil. They're not getting any of it. And Cuba literally is ready to fall. And you have a lot of great Cuban Americans that are going to be very happy about this.
Now, did you see how excited that man was when he said Cuba is ready to fall? You have got to get rid of Lindsey Graham. This is going to cause a lot of problems, Jay.
Okay, here's what's going on with Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham is extremely difficult to get rid of because he's in South Carolina. He's, of course, got name recognition. He's very powerful in the Senate. He's got a lot of money, and he raises a ton of money for the Republican Party. South Carolina is also an open primary state. So what you're going to have are Democrats who know they can never get a Democrat elected in South Carolina vote for Lindsey Graham just to keep him. That's what they're going to do. So what I see the president doing, and I trust the president when it comes to this stuff. He knows Lindsey Graham is a snake. He knows it. He knows what Lindsey Graham has said about him. He knows how Lindsey Graham will flip on a dime if it's politically expedient for him to do so, as he's done in the past. This, to me, Jack, is keep your enemies closer kind of thing. And listen, Lindsey Graham, that's what I'm going to say. And Lindsey Graham, President Trump, what he does is Lindsey Graham votes for the legislation that President Trump needs to get through. Now, do I like Lindsey Graham? No, I can't stand him. But Jack, you can't. I don't see any way to beat Lindsey Graham in South Carolina. So if you're stuck with him, I think you got to keep him close. I don't. He's a snake, like you said. I want to keep that snake close because I want to be able to stomp on him if he tries to bite me. I don't know. That's all I'm going to say. I see the play here, and I see the concern that you're talking about too. Make Iran great again. I mean, and Cuba. Marco Rubio said the other day, Jack, during that press conference after Maduro, he said, "If I'm a government official in Havana, I'm concerned right now." It came out of Marco Rubio's mouth too. But go ahead,
man.
Counter me, Jack. Go ahead.
Man, I mean, I love Trump, and I love Trump's thank you, Deb. Maybe I will move to South Carolina and run for the Senate. I think I'm going to beat Lindsey Graham. That's what's going to happen. Thank you, Deb. That's a great idea. Vote for me. I will beat Lindsey Graham.
You can't do that, Jack. We got a show to do. Go ahead.
That's true. Yeah, no. I enjoy the show much more than running for office. I've run for office before. Believe me, it's not fun. Okay, so what we were talking about, I don't even care because Lindsey Graham sucks. All right, and let me tell you, I know you don't disagree, but I love Trump, and I'm a Trump supporter, but I hate some of Trump supporters when they say things like he's playing 4D chess. Keep your enemies closer. I mean, I don't like those sayings because, I mean, you can say that about anything, you know, literally anything that happens, you can say one thing or the other. It's all it is it's a cliche. You know, it doesn't help. I mean, you got to see how this guy has Trump's ear. Trump now is worried about Cuba. He's holding the Make Iran Great Again hat. I mean, what does he want? Does he want war with every country? Does he want to? Cuba's getting ready to fall. We got to have Greenland. Yesterday, we got to have Greenland for national security. I love Trump, but what is going on here, Jay? Why are we going after every country? No, let's go after Mexico. I mean, what the hell? What if they all attacked us at once, Jay?
I think if they all attacked us at once, they still wouldn't have a chance. But that's what I'll say. But when it comes to stuff like this, like Greenland, when it comes to Cuba, when it comes to what he's doing,
Graham in his ear, man, he's got him.
I think Venezuela, it's not just about oil. That's part of it. It's not.
No, it's that's all about the elections. They got nothing to do with oil.
It's about, well, it could be that too. It's a bonus.
It's a bonus. Yes, it is a bonus.
Stopping the fentanyl, absolutely huge.
But it's all about Smartmatic and the elect. Wait until you see Maduro give up information about the elections for witness protection. He will never see prison. Now they have the trial. He'll get convicted. He'll get a sentence, and then you'll never see him again. I promise you, because he's going to get witness protection for giving up what happened in these elections, giving up the source code. That company, Smartmatic, that controlled the Dominion source code, they were a Venezuelan company. All of those people are now in custody.
And you know what else is interesting when it comes to this? His family, his wife, and a lot of his family members also indicted now. So that could be used as leverage too against Maduro to say, I'll tell you what, you give us something, maybe your family, maybe you're going to see some time. You're going to see the inside of a cell, Maduro, but maybe your family won't. If you care about your family, start telling us some things. That could be it too.
Gives it all up, I'm telling you.
Oh, there's a lot here. And it could, and listen, we know that President Trump wants proof. He wants to prove that election was stolen from him. It is very important to him. 100%.
Maduro has that proof.
We think he does, right? We think he does. Who knows what's on those phones? We know they have phones. They have those now. So there's a lot that could happen here. I mean, it's going to get real interesting. As far as the other countries like Cuba, listen, Jack, we weren't alive. Listen, I'm older than you, but I wasn't even alive during the Cuban Missile Crisis. But Cuba's been one of those problems or something, you know, right off our shores for a long time, where there's been Russian influence and so many. And
that was more with the Castro, though, you know?
Yeah, it was. But we still want this communist garbage as far away from our shores as possible.
No,
and out of the Western Hemisphere.
But why are we going after every country now? It doesn't make any sense to me. Lindsey Graham is in his ear. Look, we just got Venezuela. Let's focus on that. Stop focusing on making Iran great again. Going after Mexico next because they're controlled by the cartels. Do you know how dangerous that is? Mexico has an army and cartels that have heavy artillery, probably better than the military, if you want the truth.
I don't know. Because listen, what our military just did in Venezuela is absolutely incredible. And God bless people in our military. I know we both say that all the time.
Yeah, but the war is cartels and man.
Jack, you know, we're not at war. You know, we're not at
yet.
War. And I don't think we will be. Lindsey Graham can chirp all he wants and this and that. And I think President Trump, maybe Rain, I think said it. Maybe he gets a lot of information out of Lindsey that he likes and stuff that he could use. I don't know, but I always trust President Trump, how he deals with these people. I really do. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt until I can't anymore. And because he hasn't screwed this up with somebody like Lindsey Graham yet, I hope he doesn't. And I also know that he doesn't believe in wars. He believes in precision strikes, and he believes in action when necessary. He also believes, Jack, in trying to give these people so many off ramps before he actually does something. I say more off ramps than a Long Island Expressway, and these people just want to stay on the expressway to the point where President Trump says, "Now watch what you can do." Watch what you can do. It is amazing, Jack. It really is.
It is. All I know is I hope that Donald Trump. I mean, he's got to know that Lindsey Graham's a snake, you know. But to see that Lindsey, I'm wondering if Lindsey has something. If Lindsey has some kind of leverage. I'm not talking about blackmail, just some kind of leverage. Maybe he's the deciding vote on something in the future. He has some kind of leverage, because I know Donald Trump would never, ever choose Lindsey Graham to be the first person he fundraises with. And that's what he's done.
What did I say Lindsey Graham does, Jack? He raises a lot of money. He's a great fundraiser. That's
and
another
why?
reason why he's not going. He's not going. I don't know, but he's not going anywhere because of that. Because of a couple things, like I said, great fundraiser, very powerful in the Senate now, has an open primary state, name recognition, a huge treasure chest of campaign funds. He's not going anywhere. He's just not. As much as I'd like to see somebody, a MAGA, America First senator, replace him, it's just not going to happen. I don't see it. I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't see it.
Yeah, it's just, man, it's rough because, I hate seeing a snake that close. And then when I hear him talking about other countries, oh, Cuba's going to fall, and then I see him with, I just hope that I know Trump's a very smart man. Okay. Yep. He's very smart, but he always surrounds himself with the wrong people. And you know that he's always done that. So I just hope,
No, I think this time he's done a little better. We don't like his DOJ, right? We're not thrilled with that right now, but I think he's surrounded himself. Marco Rubio, listen, I was not a Marco Rubio fan, but he's been absolutely outstanding.
Marco Rubio's a huge help. Yeah.
Scott Bessent has been outstanding, in my opinion, as Treasury. I think Pete Hegseth's been very good. Other than that little stupid thing that happened with the Signal app and all that garbage, I think Pete Hegseth is the right man for the right job at the right time. I really do. So I think he's surrounded his immediate self with. I think Kristi Noem's been good. I think Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of good people he has surrounded himself with this time, Jack, because he came in obviously knowing a lot more this time than he did in the first run, where he knew nothing, literally nothing about Washington, D.C.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. He knew absolutely nothing, but
so Jack, anyway. Real quick, you want me to read you what Lindsey Graham does in the Senate?
Yeah, go ahead.
He's the Senate Committee on Budget chairman. He's the Senate Committee on Appropriations, including as chairman of the Subcommittee of State Foreign Operations Related Programs, Senate Committee on Judiciary, Senate Committee on Environment and Public Works. Like I said, very powerful guy in the Senate, very powerful.
But listen to this now, okay? You know how we talked about, he's saying, no, Trump's saying Colombia is run by a sick man. He's not going to be doing it for very long.
Oh,
and he said, listen to this. The reporter said, so will there be an operation by the U.S. in Colombia? Trump said, sounds good to me. This is insane.
Saber rattling. It's saber rattling. We'll see what happens. If this guy, because this guy, his name's Petro. Is it Petro? Is that how you pronounce his last name?
I don't know.
He's been saying stuff for a while. He's been popping off, Jack. I think he came to the United Nations earlier in maybe it was this year. And he basically told he was one of the guys. He sounded almost like Senator Kelly telling the United States military, don't follow your orders from your commander in chief. And then yesterday, we know when the White House put out the thing with Maduro on their page, when Maduro said, come get me. And then they went and got him. Now this guy from Colombia comes out and he says, come get me. Dude, what are you doing? Do you not realize that he can come get you? What? But here's Jack, he's now in the FA stage and he's in the dash to FO. I mean, why? Just shut up. But again, the Colombia, I think Maduro threw him under the bus and basically said, yeah, we might be distributing the drugs, but who do you think makes it for us? He threw Colombia under the bus.
Oh, yeah. No, he absolutely did. But let me tell you right now how I know that the whole Maduro thing, the whole Venezuela thing had to do with elections. Okay. And that was the number one reason. All right. So on September 25th, Dominion was sold in a mystery deal. It was just sold, but nobody really knows, the details. So Dominion was just up and sold September of 2025, just a few months ago. The very next month, the Fed indicts Smartmatic, the company of Smartmatic, Venezuela's infamous creation. October, they indict Smartmatic. Then December, they go after Venezuela. That is how you know this whole thing has to do with the elections, because we have a whistleblower in Hugo Carvajal, however you say his name, Carvajal, the former head of Venezuelan intelligence. He is a whistleblower that is going to talk about all these things, including the abundance of evidence of the 2020 election fraud, excuse me, and the frauds of 30 other countries, 30 or more other countries that the Venezuela fraud with Smartmatic giving the source code to Dominion is massive. They've been doing this since at least 2006 in America with midterms and general elections, and it goes far, man. It's far-reaching, 30 some odd countries. So that's why I'm telling you right now that and even Fulton County, you know, admitted that they weren't following law concerning over 300,000 votes. You know, there was a and then, even a corrupt state judge agreed to unseal the 2020 warehouse ballots. Things are really going on right now. Okay, and the DOJ is actually suing multiple states to require compliance with federal election laws and this and that. So things are really moving forward, and it all has to do with election fraud, not just the 2020 election. Hell, we might find out that Obama lost the election in 2012. We might find out that, you never know what we're going to find out. The midterms, you never know what you're going to find out. But I can tell you right now that they have tons of evidence now. It all goes back to Venezuela. It affects 30 plus countries. It affects the 2020 general election, and Maduro, as well as, who's the other guy's name? It's Maduro and Cartel Honcho and some other people have all the details. They have the details because Maduro, I think he took over for, what was it, Hugo Chavez? I think Maduro took over for Hugo Chavez.
Yeah.
And that person also did the whole election fraud in order to get into office. So they know all about it, man. Trust me, this was all about elections. Now, don't get me wrong. The oil is a great benefit. Stopping the drugs is an excellent benefit. This was definitely about the election fraud.
Yeah, and Jack, when you go back to 2020, everybody saw that graph, when the Biden votes just went straight up. It's impossible. I'm glad you said that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's impossible for that to have happened. And people go, that's not a real graph. No, that is real. That is what happened. And you know what, Jack? You go back to 2004, George Bush versus John Kerry. That was a very strange election.
Yeah, the Florida thing. Oh, yeah.
That was are you thinking of the Chads?
I'm thinking of the Bush Gore thing with the Florida ballots.
Forget about Bush Gore. Bush Kerry in 2004 was a strange election. Kerry was about to be coronated in that election, and all of a sudden George Bush just shot up. I think it might have been in Ohio, and he took Ohio. And he also took Florida, and back then, both purple states. So you can maybe go back to 2004 and find some stuff here. And I'm not a John Kerry fan. I thank God he didn't win. As bad as George W. Bush was, John Kerry probably would have been worse. But that was also a strange election. So we could be going back 22 years now, maybe, and finding out some stuff. The whole thing with Bush Gore, that was the whole thing with the hanging Chads. That was another mess. But as far as these machines and this cheating and all this crap, it could go back over 20 years. It's insane. Well, I hope we find out. I really do.
Yeah, and to over 30 plus countries. But you know what's funny? I'm glad you brought up the spike, because I actually, and believe it or not, I've been investigating things for a long time. And in May 8th, 2024, I found who was responsible for that spike. I actually found the person in Wisconsin who was responsible for that spike. And it got a lot of attention. And I'm going to show you guys real quick. It's actually pretty amazing. So here is the spike of which you speak of. Okay.
Yep.
This was the thing that they made right here. Okay. Now, Claire Woodall-Vogg, she was the election official in swing state of Wisconsin. Okay. And we had actual evidence. Like I said, this was May 8th, 2024. Look at this. This is the spike. You see that right there?
Yep.
Those were the actual votes. She was responsible for that. Look at this email I found. It says, "Damn, Claire, you have a flair for drama, delivering just the margin needed at 3 a.m. I bet you had those votes counted at midnight and just wanted to keep the world waiting." That is evidence if I've ever seen it. And there's the spike right there.
And who looks at that and says, yeah, that's possible? Come on. Look at the rest of the graph. It's like, it looks like a cardiograph, like, and then all of a sudden, just boom.
And they said, you deliver just the margin needed at 3 a.m. That tells you all you need to know.
Right. They're almost telling you. Exactly right. Yeah, you brought how many we need? Yeah, this many. Here you go.
And that's the spike. I found the spike, and I found the person responsible for the spike. So there you go.
Has that person ever been questioned, Jack? And I'm asking sincerely.
No,
I don't know.
They have never questioned her. They saw my reports. They saw my evidence, but nobody ever questions anybody about the 2020 election. And I'll tell you why. Because even though there was mountains of evidence back in 2020, no judge would hear the case. And they kept saying the same thing over and over. We don't want to be responsible for deciding a presidential election. So what good are election laws? What good is election fraud laws if a judge won't hear a case about election fraud? You tell me. I think it was over 60 judges said that we're not even going to look at the evidence. They didn't even look at the evidence. It's not like they turned down the case because of insufficient evidence. They would not even look at the evidence. That's where we were in 2020. Even in 2024, when I brought this out and I showed people, I found the freaking spike, the famous spike that everybody was talking about. Still nothing happens.
Yeah, that's why I always say once the votes have been cast, it's done. You got to stop this before it happens.
Exactly.
Because no judge, nobody's going to have the stomach or the political will to be the one to overturn a presidential election. It's never going to happen. Well, maybe if a Democrat's the one that gets screwed. But other than that, it's never going to happen where once it's done, it gets overturned. Once it's done, it's done. It's over. That's why you got to stop this stuff now. That's why we need voter integrity law, a SAVE Act, no more of these machines, paper ballots. How about a national holiday on Election Day, Jack? Everybody's off. Everybody goes to vote on Election Day, and not even paper ballots for our military. How about not even for our military? You're telling me our military can't send them some kind of a portal where they can cast a secure vote? Jack, we fly stuff to Mars. We people vote from the space station, Jack. So you're telling me that we can't do this for our military members?
Supposedly.
You know what I mean, right? But we just look what we just did in Venezuela with our military. You're telling me that we don't have the technology? We had drones that flew under the radar in Venezuela. We were tailing Maduro. We knew who his pets were, Jack. President Trump said we knew his pets. So you're telling me we can't figure out a way to even have our military not use absentee ballots, which are different than mail-in, of course, but no more of that crap. None of it. Over. One day, Election Day, everybody has the national holiday off, and that's how we do it. And you count them by midnight.
Let me tell you that. So Argentina can count 10, 20 million ballots in one night, but California can't count a few 100,000 in a month.
Exactly. That's it. Exactly right. What else is there to say? You have India, which counts millions of votes in one day. Hey, why can't Jack, in our own country, Florida does it right now. Florida, you know who won Florida by 11 o'clock at night usually. Yeah. What's going on here? Well, we know what's going on. When it's taking you that long to count, you're cheating. Period. Prove to me you're not. Because if you can't prove to me you're not, you're cheating. There's no other reason for this. It's 2025, 2026. Come on, stop.
And I'm telling you now, you need to watch out for 2028. There is going to be election fraud in 2028. You just got to watch out for it. You got to be careful because we don't know where it's going to come from. We don't know in what form it's going to happen, because now if you just upload algorithms into, a machine, it can change, tabulate votes, all this other stuff. So we don't know in which way it's going to come. But let me tell you, I'm going to tell you exactly how it's going to go, okay? It's going to be Gavin Newsom against J.D. Vance. It's going to take probably 30 days to decide who is the president after the election. Gavin Newsom will win by a small margin.
Please, no. Please take that back. Please.
I just speak the truth.
Listen, can anything happen? Here's the thing with Gavin Newsom, why I just think if there's no cheating, Gavin Newsom cannot win. And here's why. He has a record that is absolutely abysmal. Everything about him is abysmal. I mean, that state, look what he's done to it. Everything. You want to talk about a tyrant and a dictator? That's one. I mean, this guy is the poster child, and his policies suck. We talked about the $40 billion that went missing for the rail. That no rail or no train has ever been built yet. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. The Palisades
The homelessness problem, hundreds of millions of dollars. He said in 2010, we will have homelessness solved in 10 years. They spent I think it was $10 billion, and it's 2025, and there's more homeless people now than there was when he started.
It's the typical communist way. We just need more time, more of your money. Utopia awaits, we swear. That's it.
That's what you just said right there. We swear, we promise. That is the Communist Manifesto. We swear, we promise, take us at our word. That's the Communist Manifesto right there. That's all you need.
Greater good. It's for the greater good, Jack. We know better than you. Just trust us.
It's gotta be. Yeah. All right, so we have something interesting to talk about real quick. Before we go to that, I want to show you something, Jay. So we all know about the fraud going on in Minnesota. Okay. Well, I actually have a video of a Minnesota state representative. His name is Walter Hudson. He actually comes out and says that Minnesota's entire government is a racketeering enterprise. He is a member of the House Fraud Prevention Committee and says people are being paid off for their loyalty to the Democrat Party. He said he believes there is a racketeering enterprise in Minnesota, one that's been paying people off essentially for their loyalty to the Democrat Party of Minnesota, and he's convinced of this. I want you to take a listen real quick because this is very, very interesting stuff. So let's take a quick listen to what he has to say.
All right.
Prevention Committee. So in many ways, you really had a front row seat to the massive amount of fraud and the questionable politics at work with all of this here. You just recently courageously said on social media that you believe there is a racketeering enterprise in Minnesota, one that's been paying people off essentially for their loyalty to the DFL, the Democratic Party of Minnesota. And you're convinced of this.
Yes, I am personally convinced of it, which is a distinction from being able to prove it. I think the necessity to have all the T's crossed and all the I's dotted before raising credible suspicion that that is in fact what's going on is not necessary. We need to apply a certain degree of logic and reason and abide by our lying eyes, right? And recognize that there are certain patterns here that make it very clear that there's something insidious going on.
So yeah, he knows, that there is fraud going on right now in Minnesota, and the state representative is not afraid to say it. Jay, what do you think? I mean, it's got to be bad if, you got your own state rep saying that the entire Minnesota government is a racketeering enterprise.
Well, here's all I'll say, Jack. Everybody listening, Walter Hudson did not self-delete himself.
I know, right?
There you go. That's it. I applaud his courage. I applaud Walter Hudson's courage, and hopefully somebody listens to Walter Hudson and looks into this again. Jack, I sent you something the other night about Tim Walz, and now Tim Walz is not running, right? Yeah. Tim Walz should resign, but Tim Walz should be in prison.
Should be in jail.
Those are other things, but. I said when this whole thing happened with Vance Belter when he murdered, allegedly, because has he been convicted of that yet? But regardless, Melissa Hortman, her husband, and then shot the other politician, his wife. I said that day on a space that we need to do a deep dive into Tim Walz.
Oh, yeah.
So what happened? Nothing. Vance Belter worked for Tim Walz, and Vance Belter basically said that Tim Walz told him to do it. And nobody looks into Tim Walz.
No.
And now all of a sudden we find out there's billions of dollars of fraud running through this state. And now Tim Walz gets to say, oh, I'm just not going to run for governor. No, not good enough.
I told you there's no accountability in America. Like I said, you said that about Tim Walz, nothing was done. I showed these people where the spike was, who actually committed the spike that lost Donald Trump the election. Nothing happened. No investigation. I am telling you, there is no accountability in America. You can do whatever you want in America. So right now, if you want to commit a crime, you might as well do it. Just make sure it's not a violent one.
And make sure there's a D next to your name.
Oh, yeah. Well, D, L, hell, anything but an R. You could be any alphabet letter but an R.
Yes. Anything but an R or a C for conservative.
Exactly. Absolutely insane what's going on around here, man. I can't, it's hard to fathom. But what I will say is, and I'm glad, we talked about that because, earlier we were speaking about Vivek Ramaswamy, and I know you like Vivek Ramaswamy, and believe me, I liked him too. And I got a video that I want to show you later that tells you about him and about his entrepreneurial skills that you admire. So I think that's going to be eye-opening, and it's very, very interesting. But first, I'd like to say that Vivek Ramaswamy was he's obviously, you know, everybody knows he's running for, you know, the governor of Ohio. He was just endorsed by the Chamber of Commerce in Somalia. The Somalian Chamber of Commerce has endorsed Vivek Ramaswamy. I want you guys to see this. Take a look at this, and you can see right here. That's him in multiple different pictures with the president of the Somalian American Chamber of Commerce. And if you don't know, what a Chamber of Commerce does is basically move money. I mean, not really. They're the ones that help, you know, promote business for Somalians. But the business of Somalians in Ohio is fraud. And I'm not saying all Somalians, but a lot of Somalians, their business is fraud. So if he is endorsing Vivek Ramaswamy, that should tell you that he thinks Vivek Ramaswamy might be a little more open to what they do as opposed to whoever the hell's running against him. It also tells you that, you know, if he probably donates some of that money to Vivek Ramaswamy, some of that Ohio Somalian fraud money to Vivek Ramaswamy. And I want to tell you, Jay, before we discuss that, I want to tell you also that after this came out, Vivek Ramaswamy has personally quit social media. Personally, he has quit social media. Now, don't get me wrong. His X and his Instagram are still up, but he deleted the apps off his phone. He will no longer use social media. He has quit it after these allegations came out, after these photos came out, and after it was found that, you know, he's pretty chummy with these Somalians. What do you think, Jay?
Well, I'll just say this. We don't know when those photos were taken. Probably right now he's wishing he never took them. But people just take photos with you when you're a politician or a celebrity. And you could be in some, I mean, look how many people have pictures with Jeffrey Epstein. I wish they never did. So, I mean, I'm gonna say I don't know when they were taken. I think he should run away from this endorsement is what I would do. I would distance myself from this endorsement pretty quickly. I mean, maybe that's what he's trying to do by getting, you know, with his social media. Whatever he's doing, I'm not personally involved in it, whatever he's doing with that. But again, I think that if he knew what was coming with Somali fraud, he wouldn't have taken that photo. And we'll see what he does. He hasn't acknowledged this endorsement as of yet. And I would probably just make a statement saying I'd make a statement about the fraud. That's unacceptable. And I really don't want the endorsement. That's what I would do. That's just me. That's what I would distance myself from it. What else can you do? What else can you do?
I don't know what else you could do, but that would be difficult to do, to distance yourself from that. I mean, you know, who knows? They could be a big donor of his. You know what I mean? How could you possibly distance yourself from? I don't know. I'm just saying it's possible. You know what I mean?
Well, listen, we'll find that out, Jack. If they're a donor without that's obviously a money trail. That's a paper trail. Well, that can be found out for sure. If he's accepted donations from them, and that would be a problem. That would be a problem for him.
Absolutely a problem. I mean, the thing is, it's hard to know because we also know that he had a George Soros scholarship. You know, he actually had a George. You know, we know that he was part of the World Economic Forum. I mean, and this guy came out of nowhere. Like I said, like an Obama, like a Mamdani. It's hard for me to trust people that come out of nowhere, Jay.
Oh, I hear you. The thing that I like about him, I think a lot of the stuff he says, I like. Now, will he live up to those things? Well, I think we'll find out because I do think unless something really derails him, and I don't think that this will be it, I think he wins the governorship of Ohio. He's got J.D. Vance, who's easily the most popular person in that state by a landslide, as his best friend and endorsing him. He's got money behind him. He's got the president behind him. I think he'll be a governor of Ohio, Jack, and I think we'll learn pretty quickly whether or not we were fooled, or I was fooled, because I do like him. I also know he's had some shady business deals in the past. Where
very
he's
shady.
Yeah,
I was trying to find that video.
Well, that's my wife brings that up to me all the time when it comes to Ramaswamy. She's more in your camp as being very skeptical of him, for sure.
How he got his money was extremely sketchy, man. I mean, he made billions off of something that never came to fruition. He never sold any products. I mean, somehow he got all this seed money to do nothing, and he became a billionaire. I am telling you right now, that's sketchy as hell.
Well, he was very effective for President Trump in that election. I'll tell you that. And
Oh, of course.
2024
I mean,
election, he was very effective for him.
but see, his speech skills are not in question, because I'm telling you what they do is they pluck these people out of relative obscurity and they coach them. Look at Vivek Ramaswamy and Barack Obama. Their speech skills are exactly the same. Exactly the same. Okay, and it's probably Mamdani's probably similar. His speech skills are probably the same. In fact, I am going to show you how much the same they are real quick, just for you. You ready? Here you go. Take a listen.
This has never been a Democratic or Republican idea.
These are not Democrat ideas or Republican ideas.
This is an American idea.
These are fundamentally American ideals.
Imagine they were driving a car and they drove it into the ditch.
If somebody has repeatedly crashed your car,
you can't have the keys back.
Do you want to turn over the keys to the same people who crashed it?
He said Russia in the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back.
I have a newsflash. The USSR does not exist anymore.
You know, the Cold War has been over for 20 years.
It fell back in 1990.
A skinny guy with a funny name.
Who the heck is this skinny guy with a funny last name?
But they sense deep in their bones.
I believe deep in my bones.
E pluribus unum. Out of many, one. We are one people.
I have a dream that we can be one people again. I'm not going to read speeches written by others. What you're going to get from me is what's coming from the heart, my bone deep.
Yeah, I've seen that before. It is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I know, don't get me wrong. He is mesmerizing with his speech and his tones and his way about him, but that's what they coach. That's why Mamdani's the same way. Obama's the same way. All I'm saying is, if you're the global cabal, all right, and you've got the Democrats on your side, don't you want somebody in the Republican Party that can really, that can help you? Say he becomes president one day, or say you have him against somebody else for president. Whoever wins, you win. So they plant somebody inside the Republican Party. Nobody better than somebody out of relative obscurity. I am telling you, Jay. Just beware.
All right, yeah, absolutely. As I said, I'm glad he's going to be a governor of Ohio. I'm here, but I don't live here.
I hear you there.
Well, I get to leave, so I'm glad he's going to be governor of Ohio, so we could actually see him in action, because I don't think he's going anywhere. And so, rather than him take the reins of the country like Barack Obama did, or the reins of New York City, Ohio is a great state. Don't get me wrong, but governor of Ohio, Jack, still mayor of New York City. It doesn't get much more powerful than that, other than being president of the United States. The mayor of New York City is a very powerful position, and we have a stone cold communist in that position at this point, with real bad people surrounding him.
That's the worst part. He has really, really bad people surrounding him. I mean, radical communists, not moderates. These are radical communists, like the woman who I showed you earlier that said, whites are going to be the ones that are affected by this. That said, it's going to be a problem for, it's going to be collective property, no longer individual property. This is scary stuff, man. I'm glad I don't live in New York, but I can tell you that it's spreading. It started in Dearborn. Now it's going to New York City. Next stop is the White House. Luckily, Mamdani was not born in America. He was not a citizen, so he could not run for president ever. But believe me, they will get somebody that can. They will get somebody that can.
Absolutely. That person's probably being looked at right now and seeing if they can play the part. We know how they work. AOC, Jack, guess what she's going to do next? She's going to run for Senate. She's going to take Chuck Schumer's seat. So that's what's going to happen here. So this is the game that they've played, and they play it very, very well. And when Republicans, will they ever catch on to the game that's being run on them and realize these people hate you and don't like you, whether they invite you to cocktail parties or not? Stop trying to get to the cocktail parties and understand these people hate you.
I just found the video I wanted you to see. Now, it's about 4 minutes long, which seems like a long time, but it's really not. Does that bother you? Can I play the 4-minute video real quick?
You know I love videos, Jack. I do them all the time. You know that.
I want people to see this because it gives you a perspective of Vivek Ramaswamy. You ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go.
Vivek Ramaswamy. Should you trust him? Some of you won't like this, but hear me out. He seems to be everywhere. Clips of him giving it to the man and calling out the establishment all over social media. Skyrockets from unknown to top of the Republican polls. And I understand why. He says what we all want to hear. End the war, secure the border, drain the swamp, unity, freedom, truth. Which outlets are considered untrustworthy propaganda media? MSNBC, Business Insider, AP, Forbes, The New York Times, The New Yorker, Huffington Post, Axios, Politico, just to name a few. The mouthpiece of the establishment. Then why are they all so supportive of Vivek? Doesn't make sense. How is he considered anti-establishment when he's supported by the establishment? If you or I were to say some of the anti-woke things he says, we would be shadow banned.
That's true.
But somehow, he's trending on every single major social media platform. Prior to politics, he was a hedge fund manager.
Listen to this.
His claim to fame was a pharmaceutical startup company called Roivant. In the 9 years it's been in business, it has never been profitable or delivered a working product. Although Roivant continues to fail their clinical trials, they were able to find investors and raise money, making Vivek an extremely wealthy entrepreneur. Good at convincing people to invest, poor at delivering product and execution. Not a good sign. So what about the money? The media highlights that Vivek has invested over $10 million of his own money to fund his campaign, an honorable feat. Vivek announced his run for presidency in February 2023. How long do you think it takes to make that decision and execute a plan? 6, 8 months? July 2022, the value of Roivant stock is just over $3 per share. On February 21st, 2023, Vivek announces his run for presidency, and on February 22, he sells 4 million shares for approximately $32 million at nearly $8 per share. Well over $15 million in profit in 6 months prior to him announcing presidency. Good for him, right? Make that money. Company is losing over $1 billion per year, but he got paid. Smart guy. But anytime things are just so coincidental, I'm forced to keep digging. Why did the stock price of an unprofitable, failing company rise over 100%? How does it go from an all-time low to nearly its all-time high? Institutional money. You remember when Vivek said the financial investment giants like BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard represent arguably the most powerful cartel in human history? Well, guess who's on the list of institutional investment giants that started giving his company money 1 year ago? You want to guess? BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard. All three have added to their positions in the last quarter, and Roivant, which Vivek still owns 7% share in, is now up over 300% in the last year, making it worth close to $1 billion. During the Republican primary debate, Vivek...
All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop this right here because I want to say that the reason that Vivek made his money, and you saw he never delivered a product. The company lost $1 billion per year. How in the world do you become a billionaire from a company that loses $1 billion per year? Institutional investments. It's basically a pump and dump type scheme. You know, he pumps up Roivant, sells it, and dumps the shit. And I got to be honest, man. Somebody that's willing to do that with BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. Those are the enemy.
It's concerning.
I like that. Yeah, it is. I mean,
it's concerning.
What
No
else
doubt
you gonna
about it.
do,
Like I
man?
said, my wife, stock mom, she's been banging on that drum for a while with Ramaswamy. And the thing you just played right there.
Yeah.
That's same thing. She feels a lot like you on this one, for sure.
Well, she's a smart lady. A shout out to Stockholm. Very smart woman right there. Like I said,
and she's a good cook. And she's a good cook, Jack. That's also true. So
well,
very
that's
important.
to be determined. I haven't had any stock mom food, so I can't support that right now. But I will say that, he is like they said at the beginning, he's the person that, that says everything you want to hear. He's the Obama and the Mamdani for the Republican side. And the Republic, you can tell he's coached. Who speaks that well being an immigrant, who speaks that properly, that upright, that fervent, who has that good of mass communication, public speaking skills. Oh, I showed you the video. Obama and Vivek are basically the same person. They have the same stories. They give the same metaphors. They are coached people.
Listen, and he's also his Mamdani. I don't want to put him in the same
No,
category,
he's close, but he's not like that. No,
he's not like them. I mean, he's not
No.
as good. I mean, just
No.
like we saw in the debate where actually Curtis Sliwa was actually given a little time during a debate at the second debate for the New York mayor, and he's actually having a little bit of a hard time with Curtis Sliwa. But Obama and yes, Ramaswamy, very intelligent, obviously, to be able to think on your feet like
guy
that.
with a funny sounding name. They both said, "Who is the skinny guy with a funny sounding name?"
It's mimicking. He's mimicking him. He's mimicking him. He really is.
They were coached.
But you would think if you're going to coach somebody, could you tell them to change it up a little bit?
Well, I mean, when they coach people, they go with what works. I mean, Obama became president off the stuff he said, so they say, "Hell, let's do it to Vivek."
Yeah, but I mean, change a couple of words around for at
You
least,
should.
for God's sake.
You
Jeez.
should. You should, but I just don't think they give a damn. They think the American people are so stupid that they're not going to put side-by-side videos and show that Vivek is the same as Barack Obama. They're not going to do it. American people are too stupid to do something like that. So,
Jack, I say all the time that the Democrats, the media, and I guess some Republicans, they just still haven't caught on that the internet exists. I don't get it. The internet exists. We can go back and watch all of this stuff. I just don't understand. Like, hello, McFly, wake up. I don't know.
You are absolutely right. Now, we've got a few minutes left, so I want to tell you a stat that's going to shock everybody here, okay?
All right.
One third of Gen Z is already dead. You know what Gen Z is? You know what years Gen Z is?
Yeah, that's like what are we talking? Gen Z, 2000.
They're the people that are causing all the problems right now.
Well, when did Gen Z? Because now there's Gen Alpha. So what were the years for Gen Z?
Jesus.
Like,
Gen Z is 97 to 2012. So that means they're 28 to 13 to 28 range. A third of them are already dead, Jay. You're muted, by the way. And a third of them are already dead.
Am I good now, Jack? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh,
But I mean, does that stat not shock anybody?
Wait, a third of them are dead?
A third of them are already dead. Let me tell you why. Now that can be misleading, but I'm going to tell you why a third of them are dead. Okay, a third of them are dead because their generation has been supporting abortion.
Oh,
right now there are 68 million Gen Z people, right, in America. 20 million abortions for Gen Z. For Gen Z people. A third of Gen Z died before they were even born. 20 million abortions.
It's insane. And it's funny you bring that up, and I'll bring this point into it. The reason why also Democrats need to import people who are going to have kids, like Muslim population, is because their party is going to die out, Jack, because none of them want to get married. None of them want to have kids. And if they do happen to get pregnant, they abort it. So these people are going to be gone in 50 years. They're not going to exist, this whole leftist movement. So they they do have to import a new faction. So add that to the mix because it makes sense where they have to import a whole new demographic of people who we know have a lot of kids. We talk about it all the time in the show. So
yeah, I mean, it's absolutely insane. But when I saw that stat where it said a third of them are dead, it's like clickbait, it brings you in there. But it's true because, 20 million abortions, that's insane. And that's
crazy.
What happens. America is highly outnumbered. And let me tell you, that's all part of the global cabal plan too. What do? They pump up abortions, okay? They feed you the vaccine to sterilize you, to lower sterility rates, okay? They want to make sure that the American population is collapsing so that way when the Muslim and Islamic population come in, they can easily take over. I am telling you right now, you heard it here first on Secret America. The global cabal and the American government, at least half of them, are actually ushering in is the Islamic takeover of America. It is happening via abortion, via pumping up abortions, saying abortions are the thing to do, go do them, which is why Gen Z has 20 million of them, by lowering sterility rates via vaccines and everything else. They are doing that on purpose, by raising prices of things. So families don't want to have kids. Marriage people, they can't afford kids. They are doing that on purpose. And that is why the Islamic people are coming in. These people, they think when the Islamic people take over America, that they are going to be slaves to them, that they are going to be, they are going to be the Allah. What they don't realize is the Islamic people will kill them too.
First.
Exactly.
They're the useful fools. The useful idiots always go first, Jack. That's the way it always works.
But I'm not talking about the useful idiots in terms of the left here in America. I'm talking about the global cabal think when they usher in the downfall of America with Islam that they can control Islam somehow afterwards. That's the whole reason that they're ushering in the downfall, so they can control America. How do you control Islam?
You don't. There's your answer.
They're going to have a serious problem once America's downfall is coming. Don't get me wrong. It's not going to happen today. It's not going to happen in the next 10 years. It'll probably be another 30 or 40 years, but America's downfall is happening. Our birth rate, due to abortion, due to sterility, and due to raising prices, is plummeting, while Muslims can force their wives to have children starting at the age of 9. They can force their wives to have children. So by the time she's 30, she's got 20 kids. He's got 5 wives. Each wife has 10 kids. That's one family, 50 children. That is why Islam is taking over the world.
Well, listen, Jack, I want to think that America will survive if we turn out and vote. We need another 12 years minimum of continuous Donald Trump type governance. That's
it all started with Venezuela, because you cannot vote your way out of communism. You can't vote your way if they're cheating. He is stopping the cheating, starting with Venezuela. If this works, J.D. Vance will win the 2028 presidential election, and we can help push Islam out.
Well, what about the midterms? It's just as important, but even before J.D. Vance.
I'm going to tell you right now, even with a fair election, we're not going to win the midterms. Yes, there has been no justice.
Well, listen. We still got time. I know it's getting late early. It's actually getting
They better start arresting people, man. That's all I can say.
It's getting late. All right, I got it.
They got to start arresting actual people, like big name people. And I'm not talking about serving them with a warrant, during their high tea and saying, just turn yourself in 30 days. That's not what I'm talking about. No. I'm talking about the Roger Stone, kick your door down at 6 a.m., 30 FBI agents got guns on you. That's what they need to do. They need to walk them out in their pajamas, handcuffs behind their back, walk them to the car, push their head underneath the car. Walk them get the mugshot. If they do not do these things, Jay, we will not win the midterms. I don't care what they do. They can give every Republican $10,000 checks. They will not win the midterms if there is no justice. That is what we voted for in 2024. Justice.
Well, you saw the perp walk we have with Maduro. That's it. That's what we want to see.
That's what we want to see, yes, but that's not going to cut it.
No, but I'm saying that we saw the perp walk.
Yes,
that's the perp walk we want to see.
That's exactly it. You're right. That is exactly what we want to see.
Yeah.
You do that with some high-profile Democrats that are criminals. You do that with an Adam Schiff. You do that with a Chuck Schumer. Do it with a Nancy Pelosi, a Hakeem Jeffries. If you handcuff these people and do that like you did with Maduro, I guarantee you a midterm sweep. But if you don't, I guarantee you a midterm loss.
Well, speaking of the midterms, and right before we get out of here, Jack, I'm glad to see that Elon Musk is back in the fold. Looks to be back in the good graces with the president, and has said he's going to, contribute again
help
a lot of money to help. So that'll help. But you're right. We need certain things to happen for that money to go as far as it can. So we shall see. It's coming up. As I said, it's not late early. It's getting late. So let's go.
It is. I can tell you right now, Jay, all the money in the world will not win them the midterms if there's no justice. And Raina's right. Raina right here is right. All the money in the world will not win this for them if we don't get any justice. My rug outside that I bought in 2024 says Trump Revenge Tour 2024. That is what I voted for. I voted for revenge against the government to all the horrible things they did to Trump supporters for the last 4 years. All the raids during Sunday dinners, all the raids at churches, the arresting the preachers for praying outside abortion clinics. I voted for revenge against the government. And if I'm not going to get that, I at least want justice against the real criminals. If there are no Democrat arrests, none, you can forget about the midterm. You can forget about politics.
I'm going to say this. I know people are pissed off, and yes, justice. Yes. Here's what I'll say. I'll come at it at this angle. You got to still go out and vote. If you don't, you're going to regret it even more. You're just going to. I know it's going to feel good to say, I'm sticking it to them. I'm not voting. Screw you guys. It's going to feel good for about 5 minutes. And then when you see what happens to this country, because we let the Democrats take over, it's going to feel a lot worse. So we can talk about this and we could demand it and we could want it and we do need it and we deserve it. But if we don't get it, I'm still going to beg people to go out and vote, even if it's for candidates that you might have to hold your nose.
Yeah.
Because they're better than Democrats. We are not dealing with an American opposition party here, everybody.
That's true.
We have a communist party that we are going against. It's happening. Jack mentioned New York, Seattle, everywhere. Please understand that. Please. I'm begging you to. Go ahead, Jack.
All right. Here's what I'm going to say. Before we go, here's what I'm going to say. You are absolutely right. I want justice. But think about it this way, everybody. Let's say Donald Trump, when he was elected, did absolutely nothing. I mean, changed nothing the entire 4 years. Just by being elected, he saved America. Just by being elected, he saved America. Kamala Harris would be our president right now. She would have not only extended Biden's policies, she would have expanded those policies. And it would have been drastically different than it is now. So I will tell you, as pissed off as I am, as pissed off as we are, I will still vote for the Republicans only because there is no American opposition. We are fighting an un-American opposition. So you can't say I'm not going to vote for them because you have to. It's either that or if you let the Democrats take over, I can promise you, you're going to get something a lot worse than no justice.
Bingo. That's it. That's it. That's the message. And that we have to put out there to everybody. It's hard to say. I get it. You don't want to hear that. And you want to say, no, they need to learn their lesson. No, we don't have time for people to learn lessons.
We can't.
If Kamala Harris had won, me and Jack wouldn't be on this podcast right now because this platform would have been shut down.
And we'd have been arrested, I mean, I was banned during the conservative purge of 2021. I was banned from Twitter. They banned a bunch of big name conservatives all at one time. I was part of that purge, and then when Elon bought it, he didn't unban my account. He just unbanned me and allowed me to start all over, which really sucks because I had a lot of followers. But either way, he let me start over. But if Kamala Harris had come in, I would have stayed banned. Me and Jay would have never met, and even if we had and done the show, we would have been arrested by now.
Right. At the very least, we wouldn't be on the platform.
No,
or any platform, Rumble or nothing. None of this stuff would be available. They're still awful. YouTube is still awful. Instagram is still awful. Facebook is still awful. But X, at least we have a fighting chance. Rumble, we have a fighting chance. If Kamala Harris had won, forget about all the other stuff with Cloward pivoting this country with immigration, which would have happened. We would have had over 10 million people from 2020 January to now into this country illegally and strategically placed like Biden did on steroids. So this is what we're talking about. As much as you are frustrated, and you have every right to be, as much as you want justice, and you have every right to want it, if you don't get everything you want, you still have to get out there and vote and tell the people around you the same exact thing, because there is no time for people to learn lessons. We need to get these people back into office, some good ones, some not so good ones, and then keep working and going forward with trying to get America First, MAGA candidates down the line. This doesn't end with Donald Trump. He started it, but it can't end with him. If it ends with him, it ends the country. And I'm not being hyperbolic. That's how serious this is.
He is absolutely right. MAGA is a movement. It is not Donald Trump. Donald Trump is just the head of the movement right now. But J.D. Vance could very well be the next head of the movement, or it could even be somebody else, somebody that we don't know of, plucked out of relative obscurity, like an Obama or a Vivek Ramaswamy. You never know what could happen. But what I can tell you is, like he said, and like I said, getting. Let me tell you, if you don't vote. And right now, yes, we're upset that we didn't get justice. We're upset that we haven't gotten justice. And at the voting booths, if we still don't have justice, let me tell you, if you don't vote, if the Democrats take over, you are going to still have no justice, but you're going to have a hell of a lot worse time in America. I can promise you that. So you're going to have no justice and a hell of a bad time. So let me tell you, you're going to have much worse than no justice. And Jay, I think we've solved all the problems we can today for America. And I think we did a good job. If they listen, then Republicans will win the midterms. Vivek Ramaswamy, we'll see what's up with that. And then, we got to talk. Hopefully somebody will talk, Trump into getting rid of Lindsey Graham. I don't know what the hell's going on there. But yeah, so we are going to be back Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on our regular channels. Be sure to watch us. And for Jay Gatling, I am Jack Danger, and you have been watching Secret America.
You've been listening to Secret America.